Israeli tanks leaving the Gaza Strip, aid flowing in. A sign of the four-day ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has begun, setting the stage for the first terrorist-held hostages to be released, possibly including a 3-year-old American girl.
My fingers crossed.
We're live in Tel Aviv with the timeline and what we can expect. A fight on a Frontier Airlines plane. Why a passenger got into it with flight attendants and another claiming demon possession was involved.
You really have to know when each deal is coming out.
Don't worry, we've got you. A look at the best bargains for anyone on your holiday shopping list. No one will be hard to please this year. All that shopping is sure to work up an appetite.
Welcome to Good Burger, home with a good burger. Can I take your order?
Kel Mitchell joins us live with the hilarity we can expect with Good Burger 2. It's Morning in America. From our NewsNation headquarters in America's heartland, it's time for news for all America. Thanks so much for joining us. We begin with breaking news out of the Middle East. In less than an hour, more than a dozen hostages held by Hamas are expected to be freed. This comes as a 4-day-long truce between Israel and Hamas is now in effect, and the fighting in Gaza is currently on hold. Robert Sherman is live on the ground in Tel Aviv with the latest. Residents in a small Kentucky town are being allowed to return home this morning. They had to spend Thanksgiving in hotels or a shelter after molten sulfur spilled following a freight train derailment earlier this week. Evan Lambert has a live look at the cleanup efforts. And 55 million Americans will be taking to the roads and skies this weekend. It's a more than 2% increase compared to last year. We'll tell you the best time to avoid the worst of the holiday rush. Those stories in just a few minutes. A 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas is now underway, setting the stage for the potential exchange of dozens of hostages. That's expected to happen in less than an hour from now. Here's a live look at Israel's southern border with Gaza. The area is calm right now, no doubt due to that ceasefire. But before that took effect, Israel's defense forces saying it performed a last-minute bombardment, destroying a number of Hamas tunnels near Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Meanwhile, at the southern end of the Strip, nearly 200 humanitarian aid trucks have begun entering the war-torn area from Egypt through the Rafah crossing. And in just a couple of hours, the first group of hostages are expected to be freed by Hamas, leaving many families anxiously waiting. And right now, our Robert Sherman is live this morning in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Robert, some families this morning may get a bit of relief.
And it's been a long time for so many of these families, Nick, to hear the rumors and the rumblings that there might be a deal and then to see that evaporate. Now finally having something right on the doorstep here. But there's the sentiment among Israelis. They're not going to believe it until they see it. This is what we're seeing, though. Over the last couple of hours, that pause has been in effect. We've seen the Israelis moving some of their armored vehicles and tanks away from the Gaza Strip there. As things stand, there's supposed to be a 4-day pause in fighting. The Israelis remain insistent that it will pick up on the other side of this pause. The big thing that we're waiting on today is the release of hostages. This is supposed to take place over a 4-day span. So what we've heard from Qatari mediators is there will be 13 hostages that will be released today, if all goes according to plan. U.S. officials telling NewsNation that they do not believe any Americans will be in that first group, but they remain hopeful that there will be Americans in the 50 total that will be released over these next 4 days. And something else that we're keeping a close eye on here is the delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza. This is something that has been talked about for days on end. Now trucks are going through that Rafah crossing into the Gaza Strip. This is something that Qatari mediators talked about was crucial. Take a listen to this.
If we allow this to continue, we are risking a humanitarian crisis in Gaza like we've never seen before, and we are risking a radicalization of a whole generation that will only see, after losing their families, their homes, and their futures, will only see revenge as a viable objective for their future.
So again, we're looking at 4 o'clock local time roughly is when they anticipate this hostage release will begin. But as we've seen, everything is subject to change. This is a very fluid situation here today. Nick.
Fluid only begins to describe it there. Robert Sherman live for us this morning. Robert, thank you so much. For more on this deal and the ongoing war, NewsNation senior national security contributor, Lieutenant General Richard Newton joins me now. General Newton, I know you served as the Vice Chief of Staff for the U.S. Air Force, General. I need to ask you about what's happening right now on the ground, because we are keeping an eye on both the prison, where we expect some of the prisoners to be released that they're exchanging. We're just an hour away from when hostages will reportedly be released. This agreement took extensive negotiation with the help from the U.S. Just how difficult is a deal like this to pull off?
Well, good morning, Nick. And let me add, really extraordinary coverage by Robert in Israel, throughout the weeks of this. But nonetheless, as Robert reported, it's very fluid. I would add another word. It's also very fragile. And we haven't seen any hostage release or Palestinian prisoner release at this point, but we anticipate that within hours. I think that's a good thing, certainly for the families, especially those hostages. But nonetheless, it's very fragile from literally where the boots on the ground are right now, all the way up to the strategic level, where President Biden has personally weighed in, along with Secretary Blinken, the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, Mr. Burns, and so forth. So there's lots happening here. And there will be lots of that strategic engagement from this point forward. But nonetheless, we're seeing Israel now has begun to pause its military operations and so forth. And so we're all kind of holding our breath. On one point, if I may, Israel's objective here is certainly to get the hostages. But Prime Minister Netanyahu has been very clear that the aim is still to destroy Hamas. But I believe with this pause, that's going to be more and more difficult, because Hamas, especially now to the south of the Gaza Strip where they've relocated, they're going to have an opportunity to regroup. They're going to have an opportunity to reset their militants or terrorists, as well as garner some resources, specifically arms and ammunition, so forth. So very fluid. But my bottom line here is I'm hopeful, as well as those families of those hostages, of getting at least a very small portion thus far of them home safe and sound.
General Newton, you talk about the fluidity of that, and you talked about the potential risk involved with suspending that fight. You think so? Then you are, to be clear, you believe that Hamas will take advantage of that opportunity, even though Israel's power and force has been overwhelming.
Absolutely, they will. And not only in terms of what's happening in the battlefield, but also in the information war campaign. They're going to want to pursue, as they've done for weeks, that they're the victim here. They're the ones that are being attacked by that brutal attack that they conducted on October 7th. But let's fast forward to what Israel has now, made a point in the negotiations. They will pause the surveillance using their drones over the Gaza Strip over a period of, I believe, 6 hours over the 4-day period of military operations pause. That's significant, because that will allow, at least from Hamas's standpoint, vis-a-vis Israel drones, they'll be able to, not necessarily operate in the clear, but that will be significant, because it'll kind of take the eyes off of the Israeli military operations to be able to track where these, terrorists are. The other point is that Israel, I think, by now has a pretty good, my sources tell me, pretty good picture of that network of tunnels. But it will also, and Hamas knows that, and so they'll probably, they will, look for new entry points and exit points for those tunnel structures, so that they can operate with some type of confidence after the pause, and then forward back to combat operations.
General Newton, I have less than a minute. Now, 2 American women and 1 American child, the youngest American hostage, and a 3-year-old, are not expected to be among the first group released today. This confirmed to NewsNation from a White House spokesperson. But the White House remains hopeful that they will be among the Americans released amongst that 50. How is the U.S. working behind the scenes to ensure their release and the safe return to the states?
As I mentioned, at the highest level, with certainly with Secretary Blinken as our Secretary of State, but also down to the tactical level, through the governments of Qatar and Egypt. Red Cross will actually be receiving the hostages themselves. However, unfortunately, the United States doesn't get a vote in terms of who's to be released. That's all up to Hamas at this point. I understand there's going to be a second phase. Should this phase go a modicum of success, there'll be a second phase whereby you'll see, as I understand it, 30 hostages released, and then a number of Palestinian prisoners up to 100. Inside that 30 next block of hostages, if you will, I understand will be non-Israelis. I would like to remind our viewers there are other 29 nations who make up the cohort of the 240 or so hostages. So you could see some Americans released in that block of the next phase as well. But it'll be painstaking. Frankly, it's going to be painful for the hostage families because nobody's going to really know who's going to be being able to come home. But we got to keep our faith and strength, focused on the hostages. But I believe so far the Biden administration has been very effective, as well as Israel at this point. But it's going to be tough going, fragile and fluid, as Robert said, from this point on.
Praying for everyone's safe return. Lieutenant General Richard Newton joining us this morning. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, Nick. Good to be with you.
Earlier this morning, I spoke with the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan Nahum, about the hostages being released and the many logistical questions that remain. Here's what she had to say. What do you think we'll see today?
Well, you can never know with a group of terrorists like Hamas. So let me just give you a picture of what happened today. The ceasefire was supposed to start at 7 in the morning. At 7:15, we had a barrage of rockets falling into the south of Israel from Hamas. This is how they start their ceasefire. The hostages and the deal was meant to have been in place and started yesterday. But yesterday, the whole day, they tried to change the terms of the deal, which had already been approved, so that the International Red Cross does not have access to the rest of the hostages that they're holding in the Gaza Strip. So this is a terrorist, barbaric terrorist group that is constantly, cruelly playing not just regular war and war crimes, but psychological warfare with Israel and its government.
And Fleur, even yesterday when we saw the spokesperson for Qatar, Dr. Ansir, he talked about how the negotiation process has been one that has been back and forth. However, we have noticed that Israelis have not lost hope in thinking that some of their loved ones may come home. You've raised questions over whether Hamas even knows where all these hostages are being held. How concerned are you that other terror groups may have taken some of those Israelis?
Well, we already know for sure that Islamic Jihad have taken some of the terrorists. We don't know anything. We also don't know which ones of the hostages are even alive. We haven't had proof of life. None of the rules have applied here of anything. And it's very frustrating, very painful. Even today, when we're supposed to be seeing 13 children and mothers come home as the beginning of this deal unrolls, we don't know anything. We don't know who they are. Their families have been informed. We don't know if it's actually going to happen until it happens. You're talking about a group that cannot be trusted, have no word.
Yeah, that's a look at the Macy's Day Parade yesterday. Pro-Palestinian protesters briefly interrupted that parade on Thursday in New York, holding signs and chanting. Some activists halted the parade when they ran out to the street and glued themselves to the pavement. Now, those protesters were eventually removed by police and taken into custody. President Biden spent Thanksgiving with family in Nantucket and called for unity for all Americans. This before the parade started. The president spoke with NBC's Al Roker by phone, saying Americans should set aside their political differences and be kind to one another. Take a listen.
We have to come together. We can have different political views, but we have one view. The one view is we're the finest, greatest nation in the world. We should focus on that. We should focus on dealing with our problems and being together.
The president went on to say people should treat each other with decency, something he believes most Americans do. New this morning, New York City Mayor Eric Adams accused of sexually assaulting a former female colleague 30 years ago. A court document alleges the incident happened in 1993 when Adams was on the police force, but doesn't go into details of what she says occurred. The suit also names the NYPD as a defendant. The filing asks for a trial and $5 million. A spokesperson for the city says Mr. Adams doesn't know the woman and denies the accusation. New York's Adult Survivors Act extends the statute of limitations for sex abuse survivors to come forward with lawsuits and expires next week. A town of 200-plus people in rural Kentucky was forced to evacuate their homes ahead of Thanksgiving Day after a CSX train derailed, spilling molten sulfur. Officials from the EPA spent Wednesday and Thursday monitoring sulfur dioxide levels. Unlike February's train disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, residents were allowed to come back within 48 hours of that chemical spill. Our Evan Lambert is live with the latest and the cleanup efforts.
Nick, a fire that had been burning at the site of that derailment since Wednesday is out this morning. The local sheriff saying that there are no chemicals at this moment detected in the air. The air monitoring results, though, have not yet been shared with the public. This all happened some 60 miles south of Lexington, Kentucky, in a rural part of the state. 2 of the 16 CSX train cars that derailed were carrying molten sulfur. When released, that creates sulfur dioxide, which could potentially be harmful. The suggested evacuations mean that some residents spent a portion of their Thanksgiving in a county shelter. And as the cleanup continues, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency so that the county has what it needs in this cleanup process. The train company CSX saying it's committed to bringing this incident to a safe conclusion. And we're hearing from one of the residents who is speaking out, dealing with a hazard on Thanksgiving.
I got so aggravated. I said words that I probably shouldn't have. But then I realized when Brother Jason Medley picked us up that somebody does care. At least they cared enough to come and get us. At least they care. So we got a lot to be thankful for. We think about a dinner, but I think that our lives mean so much more. So yeah, this Thanksgiving, I'm not going to forget this. I'm really not. I'm really not.
And the word from the sheriff's office this morning is that there is no longer a threat to the public. Nick?
That is good news and so much to be grateful for. Evan Lambert live this morning. Evan, thank you. Breaking overnight in Ireland's capital, more than 100 people rioted in the streets of Dublin after 3 children were stabbed as they left school on Thursday. The attack sparked clashes between police and anti-immigrant protesters. People set buses and police cars on fire and looted stores. An Irish man is reportedly in custody for the stabbing of those children. Police are still investigating the motive, but say there is no evidence that it is connected to terrorism. As we've been reporting, in less than an hour from now, 13 hostages held by Hamas are expected to be free after more than 6 weeks of captivity. We'll talk to a national security expert about this latest development in the war and if a long-term ceasefire could be in the cards. And in Alaska, rescuers are changing the nature of their search for 3 people missing after a landslide in a small fishing village. What the shift in strategy means.
With a little help. And to support my family's immune health, I choose Airborne. It has an unbeatable amount of vitamin C, plus a unique blend of immune-focused ingredients to turn up our immune support. Airborne, turn up your immune support.
Icy hot. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. Feel the power of contrast therapy. So you can rise from pain. Icy hot.
579 breaths to show them your stuff. Every breath matters. Don't let RSV take your breath away. Protect yourself from RSV with Abrysvo, Pfizer's RSV vaccine. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. RSV can be serious if you are 60 or older. Having asthma, COPD, diabetes, or heart disease puts you at even higher risk. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Visit these retailers or find other retailers near you at abrysvo.com.
Stay tuned to get this 5-piece Ultra Nonstick Bakeware set free from Granite Stone. Are you tired of pots that burn, lids that don't fit, and pans that stick? You know you need a new set, but the prices are so high it makes you sick. Well, get ready for a kitchen full of the most durable Ultra Nonstick cookware at the most affordable price anywhere. Introducing Granite Stone Blue, the fast, easy way to cook gourmet family meals every day. Each piece of granite stone cookware is pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction and coated 3 times with our durable ultra non-stick granite stone blue finish. Granite Stone Blue is oven rated up to 500 degrees for outstanding roasting and come with vented tempered glass lids to prevent boilover. Plus, all Granite Stone cookware is 100% dishwasher and metal utensil safe. Look, you'd expect to pay up to $500 for a professional quality cookware set. But during this special TV introduction, you can get the Granite Stone Blue 12-piece set, not for $500, $400, or even $300, but for the factory direct price of just 5 easy payments of $49.95. And for everyone who orders today, we're going to drop 1 payment. You get it all for just 4 easy payments of $49.95. Granite Stone cookware is so durable, it comes with a 10-year warranty. As a bonus, we'll include our self-draining fry basket, stainless steel steamer insert, and the steamer rack, a $50 value, absolutely free. And there's even more. As a special gift, you'll get our 5-piece Granite Stone Blue bakeware set, the fast, easy, ultra non-stick way to bake up your favorite desserts. No grease or oil needed. Together, they're a $110 value, yours free. That's an incredible 20-piece Granite Stone Blue set, all for just 4 easy payments of $49.95. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-916-4280. That's 1-800-916-4280, or order online at granitestoneblue.com.
In less than an hour, the first group of hostages is set to be released by Hamas. A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, brokered by Qatar, started several hours ago, paving the way for those 13 women and children to be set free. It has been a back and forth to finalize this deal amid the war. I want to welcome in former U.S. Secret Service Special Agent Evie Pomporis. Evie, can you help give us a bit more insight into what's actually happening right now? Because your background is in national security, working in the Secret Service for over a decade, and you were first responder in the September 11th terror attacks. Israel was forced to negotiate with Hamas to get this deal done. In your experience, how hard is it to work out an agreement along these lines, especially with a terrorist group that is known to not keep its word?
This is incredibly difficult because you are relying on an organization, a terrorist group, that really doesn't follow any rules. And I think this is something very new that we're seeing. Not that they followed the rules before, but we're really seeing this unorthodox way of things being done. And so this is a very delicate situation. I would be cautious. We want to see it kind of follow through and see how this first phase happens. A lot is being negotiated with individuals. And it's interesting because I would do polygraph examinations and interviews and interrogations on terrorists, on terrorist sympathizers to get intelligence during my career. And you're dealing with an individual who has a very different ideology, and you have to be very focused on what you want because they're going to take you in all these different places, and you really want to stay focused, getting the hostages. And what Israel, if this goes through, the next thing Israel should do and probably will do is to get those hostages and debrief them, interview them, get as much intelligence as they can. So those hostages, although they're getting their people back, they're also hopefully getting intelligence. And hopefully they can use that intelligence to fight this battle, to get more hostages, to progress even further.
Evie, I understand the motivation in that, but when you just said that, I'm thinking, is it possible then some of those hostages will then relive that trauma?
It's very likely, but you're going to bring in people that know what they're doing. So as a former interviewer, I would sit a person down, and when you interview someone, you speak to them a certain way. Even the children, you're going to bring somebody that's specialized for this. And I understand the psychological aspects of it, but I will tell you this, and having worked with Israel in different capacities, they are very good at what they do. They're also very good interviewers. They are very good at eliciting information. So they're going to know what to do and to try to get the information. And I would also think that a lot of those hostages, they're going to want to help because they know that there are people behind, and they're going to want to do everything they can to be part of the process of getting other people back. Again, I'm not trying to be negative about this, but I would be overly cautious. You're also getting a small group of people on this first go around, and Hamas is going to look for any reason to say, no, we're not doing this. No, this is a problem, to mess with the negotiation. And as we heard earlier from the mayor speaking, they did do that. They did change things last minute. They do these things. So you're really dealing with, you have to look at it like Israel in some ways the adult, and you're dealing with a toddler who is going to do what they want to do and how they want to do it. And there's also probably, I would presume, a massive disorganization on their part as well. They're not as organized or structured in a sense as you would think. So you're also dealing with that collective, the mishmash of personalities and back and forth and arguing within them. They're not all going to be on the same page either.
So there is no true power and chain of command. Evie, I have less than 30 seconds, but I have to ask you, the United States has been a key figure in negotiating this deal. Benjamin Netanyahu thanking President Biden for his, quote, tireless efforts. Now, he says, do you believe that the U.S. involvement in this war is putting a target on the backs of the U.S.?
Of course it will. Anytime we involve ourselves in anything that has to do with any other country, we put a target on our back. That's why 9/11 happened, why the 93 attacks happened. And does this must make us more vulnerable? It does. I don't want to be dishonest about that. I don't think someone will try to do something in the immediate future, but I do think these organizations are very patient, and they're going to take a pause. And then maybe later in the future, when we start to kind of maybe become complacent, is when things like this happen, when we get caught off guard. So do I think something will come of this in the future? They will absolutely try to get some type of vengeance for what's being done, not just to the U.S., but even to Israel, of course.
Evie Pampouras, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So many more questions to ask, and we know we'll have you back again. We've also been following the rescue efforts for 41 workers trapped in a tunnel in India. Crews thought they had them out on Thursday. We'll tell you what went wrong, leaving those men stuck for a 13th day. He who leaves home must go back. AAA says more than 55 million people will travel this holiday weekend. Kelsey Kernstein is taking a look at Chicago O'Hare this morning. Kelsey, what's happening there?
Hi, Nick. Good morning. Take a look at these long security lines. This is what it's going to look like all across the nation, not just here at Chicago O'Hare International Airport. But coming up, we're going to tell you when you don't want to travel and you want to avoid those traffic jams.
My dry eyes made me a burning, stinging 5 times a day.
Makeup smearing, drops user.
I want another option. That's not another drop.
Tyrvaya. It's not another drop. It's the first and only nasal spray for dry eye. Tyrvaya treats the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease fast by helping your body produce its own real tears. Common side effects include sneezing, cough, and throat and nose irritation.
Relying only on drops? Not me. My own real tears are my relief.
Ask your eye doctor about Tyrvaya.
At Consumer Cellular, we offer amazing 5G coverage, backed up by incredible customer service. But that wouldn't mean much without super low prices. You already know we're up to half as much as the largest carriers. But guess what? AARP members can save even more. Yahoo!
Switch to Consumer Cellular now and get unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at only $20 a month.
I told myself I was okay with my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis symptoms.
With my psoriatic arthritis symptoms.
But just okay isn't okay. And I was done settling.
If you still have symptoms after a TNF blocker like Humira or Enbrel, Rinvoq is different and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can rapidly relieve joint pain, stiffness, and swelling in RA and PSA, relieve fatigue for some, and stop joint damage. And in PSA, can leave skin clear or almost clear.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Done settling?
Ask your rheumatologist for Rinvoq.
And take back what's yours.
AbbVie could help you save.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. The Medicare annual enrollment period is now, and it doesn't last long. This is the time of the year to make sure you're in the right plan at the right price with the right coverage for you. First, make the free call and speak with a licensed insurance agent to discuss the plans with available benefits in your area. Second, our partners offer plans from Humana, Aetna, Anthem, United Healthcare, Kaiser Permanente, Cigna, WellCare, so you can compare plans across multiple carriers. Third, choose the plan with the benefits that are right for you and your needs.
I call every year to compare plans that fit my needs.
Folks, I make the call every year as soon as the Medicare annual enrollment period starts. because it makes the whole process easy and stress-free for me. It's a free call, a free consultation, and there's no obligation. Get started on your 3 C's and make the call to speak to a licensed insurance agent now.
For a free no-obligation consultation, call 800-491-8048.
Here's a look at some of the other stories you'll be talking about today. We're bringing you an update on the Alaska landslide story we covered earlier this week. Officials say they're continuing to search for the adult and 2 children who went missing from the small fishing village, but are shifting to an active research. They mean they have not found signs of life, but want to keep looking to bring the community closure. The bodies of 3 other people were recovered earlier this week. And former defensive lineman Harlan Hasselbeck has died after a 6-month fight with cancer. Hasselbeck won back-to-back Super Bowl championships in the 1990s with the Denver Broncos and is one of 10 players to win both a Grey Cup and a Super Bowl. He never missed a game during his 7 seasons in Denver. He is survived by his wife, 4 children, and 4 grandchildren. Hasselbeck was 56 years old. Officials in India say a problem with their drilling equipment forced a delay in the rescue of the trapped tunnel workers. The machine they're using needs to be repaired after a metal pipe was found stuck to the drill, and the base of the machine was damaged. The trapped workers have been in that hole for 13 days, but are receiving food and water. She's possessed and she needs help. Flight, fight, and a demon. Another chaotic scene on a plane, this time happening on a Frontiers Airlines flight last week. Now, that video shows a woman having a meltdown as crew members try restraining her while she fights them, shouting she's been kidnapped. Later, another passenger shouts the woman was possessed by the devil. Here's hoping your holiday travel is a whole lot smoother than that. AAA projects more than 55 million people will travel 50 miles or more from their homes this holiday weekend. It's a more than 2% increase compared to last year and the 3rd highest ranking Thanksgiving travel AAA has seen since 2000. Kelsey Kernstein joins us live from Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Kelsey, some of the worst of the travel may be behind us because people really do that leading up to Thanksgiving, but we aren't out of the woods just yet, right?
Well, Nick, I think a lot of us thought Tuesday and Wednesday were going to be the worst, but take a look at this. On Friday after Thanksgiving, the security line wraps all the way around. I mean, the security line starts all the way back there. So you will want to plan extra time if you are headed to the airport, especially today. But TSA is predicting that Sunday is going to be the worst day to travel. 2.5 million passengers will be traveling through the airports on Sunday. So that is your best bet, is planning that extra time. Experts are saying 3 hours is the best thing that you can do. You want to plan for long security lines. You want to plan time to check in your luggage. And AAA is predicting that more than 4 million people will be flying over the Thanksgiving holiday. So really, there's nothing more than I can say than packing your patience. And when it comes to those that are driving, they're expecting, AAA says, 49 million people hitting the roadways. And the times you don't want to be on the roads are today between 12 and 4 p.m., no matter where you live or wherever you're headed on that vacation. And Saturday and Sunday between 3 and 5 p.m. Stay off the roads. The best time to head home is really Tuesday. If you can be off the roads on Monday as well, that is your best bet. But on a positive note, I will tell you this. Gas prices are 40 cents cheaper than they were this time last year. And that national gas price average, according to AAA, is $3.26. But I do want to take it a little over this way. You can just see how far this TSA line, it wraps all the way around on the other side. So really can't reiterate enough, plan that extra time. Nick?
Kelsey, thank you so much. And I'm thinking that even if you have that TSA pre-check, that may not be enough to avoid that long line.
Yes.
No. Definitely. Kelsey, thank you so much. Well, earlier this morning, I spoke with NewsNation's travel editor, Peter Greenberg, about how the weather could also impact some travelers this weekend. Now, AAA reports more people will be on the road compared to air travel, which can what can drivers expect to pay at the pump this year? And what are some of the other safety tips for road travel?
Well, the good news is gas is cheaper this year. It's still not cheap. It's down about 50 cents a gallon over last year. But interestingly enough, those 55.4 million figure that you're seeing from AAA doesn't tell you how many people are in each car. And that's where people are getting smart. They're amortizing their costs by filling the cars as opposed to just having one or two passengers. And that's a good thing. The other thing is this, they're getting an early start. They're leaving like at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're not leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting stuck in traffic, or worse, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So the best time to travel, if you can get your kids' naps time accordingly set, is 2 o'clock in the morning. Same thing for your return.
Peter, right now, the Midwest, the Southeast, and the East Coast seem to be doing okay with weather. But weather is causing flight delays in the northern and central Rockies and Central Plains through the weekend. Now, according to the National Weather Service, what should travelers do before heading to the airport?
Well, of course, you want to check a couple of things. There's some great websites called Flight Radar 24 as well as Flight Aware. That'll let you know where your plane is. It's not a question of getting to the airport on time if the airplane that's assigned to your flight isn't there. Then you want to be able to get on the phone, of course, as soon as you can, or get on the airline's apps. They're all easy to get on to figure out what your options are. Now, so many people are connecting flights, not just during the Thanksgiving weekend, but throughout the year. And there's some important things to know there as well. Never book a flight with less than a 2.5-hour connect time, simply because if the first flight is late, you're going to miss that second flight. We know that, but you're not going to get on the third flight because it's already full. What some very smart travelers are doing, it requires a little bit more of an investment, is they're actually booking a separate flight later in the afternoon on their connecting route, and they're paying a full fare refundable ticket so that if they need to get to that flight, they have a seat. If they don't, they can refund the ticket.
Peter, that has been a trick of mine forever because you and I both work in jobs where we have to be there the next morning. Now, if your flight is delayed, what is the best way to handle that inconvenience? We heard Secretary Buttigieg talk about the new rules in place as far as a federal stance is taken. But what does a traveler do in the immediate moment?
Well, the secretary can talk about the new rules, but they're not in place yet. They're only still proposed. It's still on a case-by-case basis, and the airlines on their website are only really publishing mission statements of what they will attempt to do, not what they're required to do. So as any other customer service person will tell you, you never want to take a no from somebody who's not empowered to give you a yes in the first place. Always seek out a supervisor first, because the first person there you're going to be in contact with, either on the phone or as in person, is more than likely only empowered to tell you no.
And when you're done traveling, get your debit and credit cards ready because it's Black Friday. See some of the best deals to get today and how Amazon is changing things this year.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Yeah, you know him. You know him. He made fast food funny with the 90s cult classic Good Burger. Now, more than 25 years later, our favorite burger slinging duo is back. We speak with Kel Mitchell. Look at him looking good, skin just glowing. We speak with him live and what to expect in the new highly anticipated sequel.
We're standing up for our right to be lazy.
Not literally, of course.
We work hard. We deserve to scroll hard.
It's the Black Friday sale. Great deals on recliners, sofas, sectionals, and more. Plus 0% interest until 2027.
We've earned our lazy time. What she said.
Hurry in. Black Friday sale going on now. Lazy Boy. Long live the lazy.
There's something going around the Gordon home. Good thing Gertrude found Delsum. Now what's going around is 12-hour cough relief. And the giggles. The family that takes Delsum together feels better together.
Fashion moves fast.
So we partner with Verizon to take our operations to the next level.
With a custom private 5G network.
We get more control of production, efficiencies, and greater agility.
That's enterprise intelligence.
It's your vision. It's your Verizon.
Stay tuned to get this ultra nonstick bakeware set and these razor-sharp chef's knives free from Granite Stone. Has your old set of pans lost their slick? Does everything get baked on, burnt on, and stick? You know you need a new set, but the prices are so high it's obscene. Well, say hello hello to Granite Stone Emerald Green, a kitchen full of the most durable, ultra non-stick cookware at the most affordable price anywhere. Granite Stone Emerald Green is the fast, easy way to make your family 5-star cuisine that's delicious and lean. No oil or butter needed. Granite Stone Emerald Green is constructed from a hard aluminum plate and coated 3 times with our durable, ultra non-stick Granite Stone Emerald Green finish. They're oven rated up to 500 degrees and come with vented tempered glass lids to prevent boil-over. Plus, all Granite Stone cookware is 100% metal utensil and dishwasher safe. Look, you'd expect to pay up to $500 for a professional quality cookware set. But during this special TV introduction, you can get the complete Granite Stone Emerald Green set not for $5, $4, or even $300, but for the factory direct price of just 5 easy payments of $39.99. And for everyone who orders today, we're going to drop 1 payment. You get it all for just 4 easy payments of $39.99. And here's the offer you've been waiting for. We'll include this razor-sharp 6-piece knife set to prep quick, and they're all non-stick, free. But there's even more. You'll get our 5-piece bakeware set, the fast, easy, ultra non-stick way to bake up your favorite desserts. Together, they're an $80 value. Yours absolutely free. That's an incredible 21-piece Granite Stone Emerald Green set, all for just 4 easy payments of $39.99. Plus, we'll ship your entire order free. Order now.
Call 1-800-357-0801 or go to emeraldset.com. That's 1-800-357-0801. That number again is 1-800-357-0801 or go to emeraldset.com.
If you're one of millions of Americans who plan on buying a fresh Christmas tree this year, that's me. Get ready to pay around 10% more than last year. Farmers are blaming a combination of bad weather and an increase in the cost of fertilizer and other chemicals for the rise in price. According to the American Christmas Tree Association, trees can run anywhere between $25 and $2,500. The average price of a fresh 6-foot tree this year coming in at $80. Artificial trees, depending on the size, will run about the same price. With the jingle bells ringing, so are the cash registers with Black Friday deals. First, scan that QR code on the screen. See it pop up there? Yeah, I want you to go right there to the right of that screen. It will lead you straight to the best remaining deals on bestreviews.com. Joining us now, Senior Director of Content Operations from Best Reviews, Jacob Palmer. Jacob, good morning. Happy Black Friday. First, let's start with an online retailer most people will be using, Amazon. How are they changing things this year?
Well, it's kind of what we've seen across the board. But what we've seen so far is that a lot of retailers are moving the shopping dates forward. So Amazon started with their big sale date on November 17th. And here's the interesting thing, Nick. What we've noticed so far and how that's adjusted consumer behavior is that people were using those deals to stock up for themselves. They were stocking up on essentials, things like vacuum sealers ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, as well as smoke detectors. You know, not very sexy gifts. But now what we're seeing going into Black Friday is that they're ramping up the deals on the more, gift-worthy items, and that people are starting to adjust to that. So one of the most popular things we're seeing right now are things that are popular on TikTok. So the Dyson Airwrap is less than $500, and the Bissell Little Green is 28% off. But they've got a lot of deals going on a lot of the bigger names, and those are really ramping up today, starting at midnight.
You talked about the Dyson, but what are some of the other deals that will be going on and that we'll see throughout the sales?
Yeah, it's interesting because it really is starting with these TikTok products that got a huge following from that social media. So, we talked about a couple there. The other ones that we're looking at right now is the Ninja Creamy is something that started on TikTok where you can make your own ice cream and gelato. We tested a ton in the Best Reviews testing lab. Somehow that ended up here, testing in my kitchen. But it's 17% off right now. You usually don't see deals on that. Outside of that, we're seeing offers on DeLonghi coffee and espresso machines, saving up to $400 on those, which are really high demand products because, again, it's one of those things that you want to splurge on for yourself. You want to have that homemade cup of espresso, and it's a great way to be able to bring that into your own kitchen.
Jacob, I've got about 30 seconds, but tell us, what is that must-have gift this year?
Well, right now, what we're looking at this exact moment are the different earbuds. People are shopping for Beats headphones. They've got the Bose Quiet Comforts, as well as AirPods are available for less than $100 if you're looking on Walmart and other places. So for a lot of people, they're looking for those wireless earbuds, and right now we're seeing big deals on them.
I loved mine, but I needed the ones that wrapped around the ear or else they kept falling out. So I'll keep looking, and now may be the best time to get that special deal. Jacob, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
And for more information on Best Reviews products, you can use our phone. Use your phone right there. Scan that QR code at the bottom right of your screen. It will take you to bestreviews.com/NewsNation. He made fast food funny with the 90s cult classic Good Burger. Now, more than 25 years later, our favorite burger slinging duo is back. Kel Mitchell joins us live with all the laughs we can expect in this highly anticipated sequel.
I just want to say that I watch you a lot, and I'm grateful that you're there. You add so much value to this job and this position. I've watched you more now than ever before. NewsNation is very, very lucky to have you.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't at its best. But a little Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil psyllium fiber gels to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down, and also helps lower cholesterol and slows sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. So you can feel lighter and more energetic. Lighten every day the Metamucil way. And for a delicious way to promote digestive health, try Metamucil Fiber Thins.
This is a special alert.
Israel is under attack, and Israel's enemies seek our destruction. The people of Israel need immediate help.
Rockets have us squarely in the crosshairs. Our people are targets in their own homes. Many have lost everything and fear for their lives.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has launched an urgent response to rescue those affected by this violent attack.
Our teams are on the ground across Israel delivering life-saving aid. Your urgently needed gift of only $45 will help rush food, water, medicine, and emergency supplies for Jewish families that have nowhere to turn.
Time is literally running out. What we need you to do is to act now.
Please call 1-800-946-7288. Scan or go online now.
We come from people we can be proud of. Seeing all the places I come from, I know. If it's a Serrano, it's something to be proud of.
Give the gift of family heritage with Ancestry.
iPhone 15 Pro, your husband deserves it.
Carolers, to tell me you want a new iPhone? A better plan is Verizon.
This Black Friday weekend, turn any iPhone in any condition into a new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and iPad and Apple Watch SE, all on us. Only on Verizon.
Shopping online comes with digital threats, so turn on NordVPN. Steer clear of phishing websites and encrypt your online traffic. Get the deal now.
ACC football on the CW wraps up with the regular season finale when Wake Forest goes on the road to Syracuse for a battle in the Dome. Wake Forest Syracuse this Saturday at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific on the CW.
Have you thought about updating to a walk-in bath? Walk-in Bath Club offers the finest quality products on the market today. Call and schedule a free, no-obligation quote for your walk-in bath now. Walk-in Bath Club brings you ease and comfort in having one of the lowest step-in height units available. And just imagine whirlpool and massage jets creating a relaxing spa-like experience right in your home. Call now and get $1,000 off your walk-in bath plus low monthly payments with this exclusive TV offer. With a brand new walk-in bath, you can unwind and relax using powerful hydrotherapy along your legs, feet, and spine while staying warm with heated back, neck, and shoulder surfaces, all at the touch of a button. Walk-in Bath Club gives you a modern and luxurious experience, installed in as little as a day and backed by a lifetime limited warranty. So call Walk-in Bath Club and get $1,000 off your walk-in bath and low monthly payments now. For a free quote,
call 800-431-9296. That's 800-431-9296.
You think I can get a job at Good Burger?
I'm putting a good word to Mr. Jensen. That's not soap, by the way. It's maple syrup.
Why?
Do you guys serve veggie burgers?
I can serve anything on the menu.
Actor and comedian Kel Mitchell has been bringing joy into our households for decades. Maybe you remember him from the comedy sketch Good Burger, All That, or his spinoff Kenan and Kel. But now the fast food duo is back and serving up nostalgic laughs in the movie Good Burger 2. Kel Mitchell joins us live to talk more. Kel, you've been quite busy. I saw you and Kenan at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. How did it feel to be in the middle of all that action? And was it like the energy that you needed?
Oh, it was beautiful, man. Kenan and I both had such a blast and waving to all the fans. It was so much like happiness and love there. I mean, people were all in their windows at their apartments way up high screaming at us. So it was just awesome. Shout out to the city of New York.
Yeah, I have to ask you, Good Burger has been a staple in families and households for almost 25 years now. How was it to like reunite, and did the music and the magic kick back in like it did the first time around?
Man, totally. It kicked right back in. It's like riding a bike. The jokes were there. It's so much fun getting to Ed. Ed lives rent free in my mind. So Ed was ready to go. And once I put that wig on, we were right back at it. And it was awesome working with my brother. The jokes were flying and we're just having fun. I mean, the response has been just beautiful.
I got to ask now, which one is the diva on set? Hey, I need extra hair and makeup right now.
No, I don't think any one of us are divas, but we do have our regiments that we like.
I understand. Hey, listen, I do want to ask you a serious question because I do know your faith is important to you. And recently you were in the hospital. I want to know how you're doing and how did your faith help with your recovery?
Man, thank you for asking that too. I'm doing really good. God is good. Prayer is good, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, man, faith did play a very much of a big part. Always in my life.
I love that. You're also a dad, and that's important because those youngins like to be in the movies too, I see there. Do either of them have aspirations to be actors or be performers, or was this just a one-off?
You know what? They did so good. If they want to do it again, I'll support them in that. I'm always big about that. Whatever Wisdom and Honor wants to do, they did so good in the film, and it was so cute seeing them in the wigs and looking just like Daddy. We watched the movie again, actually, last night during Thanksgiving.
I love that. Kel, I got to ask you, you wear a lot of hats, not literally the hat you wear right now. Yeah. Producer, actor, performer, podcast, you've written books. Is there a particular area of your art you're more drawn to?
You know what? I'm just I just enjoy this journey of life. You know what I mean? Waking up every morning is a gift, and this life is a gift. And so I just say, put your hand and your feet in everything. You know what I mean? Those dreams and desires that God put in your heart, go after it. Yeah.
You've been doing this for years. You still learning?
Always. I tell everybody, always be a learner. You know what I mean? Be a sponge. Learn from everything. Learn from every experience and enjoy every moment.
In Good Burger, you keep asking people how they want their burger. I'm going to ask you, what makes a good burger? And what's your order?
Okay, you got to have good seasoning. Okay, and it got to be fluffy. You got to have a bounce when you're about to bite into it. That's very important.
You're from the Chicago area. What's your favorite burger joint in Chicago?
Oh, man, I love the city of Chicago. I'm actually here in Chicago right now. I don't know if I broke it down to the best burger. We have the best pizza, and we have the best, Chicago dogs, and we have the best Chicago hoagies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, hands down.
Okay,
but I got to find out what's the best burger. Actually, I'm going to do that today.
I love that. Listen, I got to ask you before I let you go. You're known for your impressions. What's the impression you get asked to do the most, and would you do it for us right now?
Yes, I got a lot of impressions, but of course, Good Burger 2, we celebrating that. So I'll do that right now. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Wow, NewsNation. Yeah, I did.
We're cutting that for a promo, don't you? See,
let's go.
Do that NewsNation part one more time for me there. Would you do that again, please?
Yeah, I did, huh? Welcome to NewsNation. Cool.
Kel Mitchell, sir, you are hired. Congratulations on all your success. Happy holidays to you and your family. And thank you so much for joining Morning in America today.
Thank you, man. Happy holidays. Have a great one.
Same to you. Good Burger 2 is out now on Paramount Plus, and you can catch it on any of your streaming platforms. I want to go now to some breaking news that we've been covering all day on the hostage situation out of Israel dealing with Hamas. We're just moments away from 13 hostages being released by Hamas. They've been in captivity for nearly 6 weeks. This is a live look at the Rafah crossing at the border of Gaza and Egypt, where those hostages are expected to be handed to the Red Cross in a matter of minutes. We're live on the ground in Tel Aviv with the latest.